Senator John Fetterman interviews with Fox News about Zohran Mamdani's meeting with Donald Trump and his views on socialism, and a previous meeting that he had when he visited Donald Trump at the White House. Take a listen.
And said that the president was kind and cordial when they got together. Senator Fetterman, always good to have you with us. Welcome back to the program. What are your thoughts as we wait for this meeting and perhaps a little bit of on-camera discussion from these two men?
Well, we actually have some common ground with me and the socialist guy. We both agree that it's reasonable to meet with the president if they invite to sit down and talk to them. And I think what's different is that I haven't seen a lot of blowback for Mamdani to do this, but I got a lot. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to sit down and have this conversation. And that's what I've done back in January. And I do expect that it's going to be cordial. And I think overall it's going to be a regular conversation overall.
Fetterman was then asked, what would be the benefits of Zohran Mamdani meeting with Donald Trump and with Donald Trump meeting with Zohran Mamdani? Take a listen.
I'm not sure exactly, but I do. I mean, it's the biggest city in our country, and I think it's entirely normal to have leaders meeting and talking. And I did the same thing in Mar-a-Lago. I mean, he invited me to join him, and I said, sure. I mean, as a senator that represents one of the biggest states in the country, it's a normal conversation. And then I don't know why there's part of my party say that you're not allowed to have that, talk to him or do these things, and that's crazy. And I don't see that they're having the same kind of blowback. I'm not sure why, but it's always reasonable to do these things.
One of the biggest groups that helped Mamdani get elected is the Democrat Socialists of America. And we're seeing them get traction in a number of races across the country and put forward a lot of candidates across the country. And these are some of their demands for Mamdani. They say, you know, he's our guy and we're not going to let go of the things that he told us he would do. And these are the demands: divest from Israel, ban Israeli products in city-run grocery stores, end NYPD training with, quote, Israeli occupation forces, and arrest the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu if he comes to New York. So what do you make of those demands from the DSA on the future mayor of New York, Senator?
Well, I mean, it's absurd and arrogant, and it's just like tough guy. Well, we would arrest Netanyahu. Like, that you have no authority to do that, and the United States are not a part of the ICC. So it's just, again, that's empty kinds of threats. And now it's like, yes, parts of my party is becoming more and more anti-Israel, and the new candidates now make it more and more front and center in their campaign to be anti-Israel. Well, I mean, that just affirms me that's a signal to just lean in harder and be very proud to stand with Israel, because that's our key ally, and I refuse to ever turn our back, regardless if there's part of my party that's been willing to do these things.
So, to talk about that contrast in your party, this is a post from the Pennsylvania Working Families Party, and what they're saying about you, Senator, they say, we are primarying John Fetterman. Last week, Fetterman once again sold out working class Pennsylvanians. He was just the deciding vote for the Republican budget bill that will strip health care from over 400,000 Pennsylvanians. We deserve real working class leadership in the U.S. Senate. What's your response to that?
I hope so, because I guarantee whoever they put up, they're going to make me look, the reasonable guy that's going to work with both sides together and find a way for Pennsylvania. And now it's an absolute lie. Voting to keep our government open, that was a vote to make sure that 42 million Americans get their SNAP. And now we're going to pay all these people, like the military and the Capitol Police and all of those folks now too. So now if they want to primary me, so it's like, but my point, it's like I've been on the side of common sense, and I've always got to put our country for party. And I think most people now realize that shutting our government down was wrong.
it's interesting. There were some voters who were Trump voters who voted for Mamdani, and it seems that the working class vote is really looking for someone who stands by them. And in many ways, President Trump really has surprised, in terms of the outcome. He's garnered a lot of working class voters. But this was an interesting piece in a new column that compared your brand of politics, Senator Fetterman, to Reagan Democrats, but saying, now it's flipping the other way around. According to this writer in Real Clear Politics, this is an opinion piece. It says Fetterman is one of the few U.S. senators of either party who seem to follow his conscience instead of party bosses. It would sure be interesting to see him on a debate stage challenging Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to stop telling Americans what they need and start listening to find out what they want. What do you think of that?
Well, I think Governor Whitmer, I think we agree on a lot of things. I mean, we all remember that the governor would visit and talk to the president, and he works together for their states. So the others that you reference, and now, so for me, it's like, whether Governor Whitmer and I have done is that we have won, and we've carried the kind of states that determine who's going to be the next president, and that those are the kind of states that keep us honest, and a reminder that there are both sides. And I think we probably agree with Governor Whitmer that we're not going to call them you're fascists, you're Nazis, you're terrible, and you're trying to destroy our nation for that. So it's like, it's all about these states, like whether it's Michigan or Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, not about like the deep, deep blue things, whether it's California or AOC's district, or if it's Mamdani's now too. And those are the kinds of extreme things that was part of the reason why we lost in 2024.
Do you think that you could peel off votes if you were to run for the White House down the road? I know you told me, it's too soon to think about that. But do you think that you could peel off working class voters who have gone over to the Trump side, on the Republican side?
I think the argument that and the kinds of values and the kinds of perspectives to carry a state like Pennsylvania, and I do think, very compatible for that. In increasingly polarizing times, I just want to be normal, and I just want to have confidence thing. And now, when I have to, if I'm asked to violate my core and my party's, what I think my party's values, like shut our government down and plunge 42 million Americans into food insecurity, and now Thanksgiving is coming. Can you imagine the kinds of mass chaos just trying to travel after the shutdown? And why want to do anything that would make flying less safe and more chaotic than that? And that's my values, and I think that should be the Democratic value. And now if that might cost me politically to follow the party during the shutdown, but I'm proud what I stand by that vote.
Well, Senator, before I let you go, we haven't seen you, I don't think, since you had a fall, and you're a little banged up, but we all understand and have been through similar things, I think. So are you doing okay? You doing well?
Yeah, we did a lot of tests, and all the doctors confirmed, that man has a really rough face, so it really did play out.
We all know that big mouth from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and that angry man from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, are the ones that want to try to remove Fetterman from his seat. But it can't happen, it won't happen. They have no power to do that. Now, socialism might be fine and dandy where Bernie Sanders and AOC reside, but no one across the country is going to accept that as the face of the Democrat Party moving forward. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow God, not coach.